Hey, welcome to another episode of Electrical Theology. I'm your host, Charles, and we get into the esoteric life coaching, which is helping you understand who you are, how you are, where you are, what you want to do with this life, and how do we start this whole process. Right? The process starts with you and within you. We got to go deep within you. Last few episodes we've talked about is deep listening, deep communication. We talked about the difference between superficial communication and deep communication. You can watch those last videos. This video, we're going to be getting into self-awareness. So once you have communication, you begin to have deep communication with yourself and reframing, learning and understanding reframing as we have, and understanding that all this communication is all about communing, not only with yourself. Communion is just common union, and so it's about a union. Union is just un and ion, or one ion. And then ion is just energy or electricity, so we're basically saying one. Or in essence, we can talk the cosmic language of ones and zeros. And we've delved into some of that in the early episodes, about 20 episodes ago, so take a look at those if you want and refresh. Or if you're new to this channel, I appreciate you showing up. It is a little esoteric. It gets out there in the outer world as well as the inner worlds. It's about dealing with yourself before you can go out there to the outer worlds or the inner worlds or the inner verses and being able to communicate and relate to others. So what I'm teaching is just framework, understanding the frame to the universe, the blueprint, the secret grid we've talked about in multiple videos of how to manifest, how to create the life that you want from the present state to your desired state, and a whole bunch of other good stuff. But that's what this channel is about, guys. And each week it's just about developing yourself, so when you can become the medium to other people's ships, then you have a relationship. You're able to relate to other off-worlds and in-worlds beings. All right? This is not about evil. There's no spirits, demons, stuff like that. This is just electrical noetic science or esoteric science, but it also has the value. It also has a value system, and this value system is based upon you. Electricity just has values. We can give it the name watts or amps or volts, and these are just the creators: amperes, volta, joules, teslas. These are all names that we give to the measurement of electricity or the value of electricity. And so these classes are all about you reevaluating yourself or revaluing yourself. And look at the ions of how you're transmitting and bringing them in, and are you ready to increase, amplify, decrease, whatever this is for you, but having a full roundabout understanding of what you are. So today we're going to be talking about the mental realm, because that's what we've been in. If you've been studying the secret grid, we're on that mental realm. And today's going to be about your self-awareness, who you are, how you are, why you are, all that good stuff. So under self-awareness will be your self-worth, image, esteem, and concept. All right? And today we're just going to mainly tap into self-awareness. And then the following videos will deal with worth, image, esteem, and then concept. All right. So here's a little kitty cat looking at itself in the mirror. So we are one way, but we see ourselves in another way. And if you see yourself as a lion, looking at yourself as a kitty, then you're not really tapping into who you are. And lion just has the word ion on it, so I like this, or in it, so I like this picture of this cat believing itself to be, bigger than what it's been told it was, or what its capabilities are. Right? So this is basically our chart, our self. This is all under self-awareness. These four are under self-awareness. Right? Are you aware? So you got to remember back to our grid. Our other grid is discipline, knowledge, understanding, awareness, insight, and then actualize. And yes, I say actual eyes because we can see now from the esoteric perspective or eyes about our external or exoteric lives. Right? So we're going to be delving into self-worth, which is just your identity, right? Who you perceive yourself to be, the value. Because your self-image is the value, and this is about the evaluation we talked about earlier. It's how you value yourself will be how you see yourself, right? And then that's going to give you your self-esteem. Right? Your self-worth dictates your self-esteem, and the image dictates your concepts of the world or your beliefs. So self-esteem will deal with worldviews, and then beliefs will deal with self-concepts. Self-awareness is where we acknowledge the part we play in our own problems or issues in life and what we want and don't want in life. This helps make the changes we want to become. Right? Gandhi or one of them that said, be the change you want to be, or something like that. So what we want and don't want in life ends up becoming what we choose and don't choose in life. And then that becomes what we commit to and not committed to in life. And so this helps us along our path. What are you really committed to? We talked about that if you had to do the same thing, if you're doing your same life, are you committed to doing that for 400 years? Right? Well, you came into this life and said, I'm going to be me for 80, 90, however many years in this earth, in this spacesuit. Right? So you've told yourself you want to be something. Now, if you don't like what you're being, we can change that through being aware. But the awareness, self-awareness, comes through understanding who we are. And who we understand ourselves to be was based upon the knowledge that we've gained or the information we've gathered through our tribes, our societies, our religions, beliefs, so on and so forth. So what I want you to do right now, and you can pause the video if you want, and just quickly write down 4 adjectives, basically describe and write about your self-awareness, right? Now, 4 adjectives are too short. Take the time, or after this video, just take time and write down in a notebook. We talked about this before, is date it, label it, and give it a name. And this will be your self-awareness folder, right? It will have other folders about direction, what we want to be, our ideas, but right now we just want to have our own folder on describe and write about your self-awareness. So how aware are you? Where did your awareness come from? What is awareness? Right? How do you wear this shell in this earth plane? I know that's a little out there, but again, in order to go where we're going to go with these classes, these sessions, these sermons, is depending on how far you're willing to go into yourself, deep into yourself. Because the deeper you go into yourself, you'll discover or uncover that there is no thingness. And then once you understand that you are the no thingness, you now have the empowerment to empower those ions to form and manifest into what you do want, choose, and then commit to in this life. But we have to understand who we are and why we are built the way we are built. Right? So describe and write down about your self-awareness. Right? What are you aware of? Do you hate things? Do you like things? How do you come off to other people? How do you come? If you ask the 5 friends around you, hey, give me 4 adjectives of who you think I am. Do that if you have the courage to do it, and then listen to all these, right? And look at the commonalities. You'll be amazed at how some people see you because you perceive that other people perceive you a certain way. But when we actually ask these people, we'll see that some of them see us in a different light, right? And it may help you, right, to look at the things that maybe you didn't see that they saw about you. So take some time, write this down, and then that'll help us go forward, right? And again, this is all how we're going to relate to other people's ships. This will eventually, I'm going to have an entire video on why it's important to establish this communication style, because it's going to help you build your array, your antennas, and are able to have a stronger signal to communicate to other beings out there. Right? How aware are you? So let's ask ourselves some questions, right? Because we're questioning these ions, guys. These are the ions we want to bring into our awareness, right? What am I aware of? What am I not aware of? So the question of what are you aware of, we also want to know what don't you think you're not aware of. Right? So how aware of you are you of your beliefs? Now, your beliefs are what you were told by other people, right? Or some things that you developed yourself out of your life experiences and events. But most beliefs are built on the past. right? And that's where the ego, because the ego can't make up any new thoughts, it just rehashes the old ones. Right? So if you want to move forward in life and manifest the life you want, you have to get out of the old beliefs. Right? Within the word belief is just be lie. It's just you're being a lie. Right? So again, how aware are you of your beliefs? Right? Again, that's why asking other people, your closest friends, and saying, hey, who do you think I really am? Be honest with me. Tell me who you see me to be. Right? And another reflection you can do is look at someone that you don't know, observe them, and then give them 4 adjectives. Well, those are going to be part of your beliefs too. Where did you don't know that person? You just gave them those adjectives, so they're you, right? They're just you projecting on that other person because they remind you. Why? Because they're a reflection, which is reflecting ions or a mirror of you, just like that little kitty cat and a lion. It's just a reflection. So we need to know and understand what are these. Why are they? Or what are they? So how aware are you of your beliefs, and what are they? So what are your current beliefs? Now we talked about your past beliefs, but what are some other ones that you're carrying around with you today? Which ones, when you go to work, are you still believing? That the world is going to crap, that the president's the greatest thing since chocolate chip cookies, or the worst president since whatever? Do you see that the whole world is going to blow up because of global warming, change, freezing, whatever? What are your current beliefs, right? And what assumptions do you have about yourself and other people, right? So what do you assume that other people, right? When you look at certain people or groups or other people who have other beliefs, what are your assumptions about these people, right? Assumption is that you assume that you know who they are, right? Which again, we've talked about numerous times. We don't know who anyone is, right? So what assumptions do you have about yourself and other people, right? So you just assume you can't do something? Do you assume other people then cannot do something? Do you then tell them, oh, don't do that, you can't do that? Are you going to be like a parent in the old days, say, oh, you can't do that, just go be a fireman, lawyer, doctor, whatever. Don't worry about art. Don't worry about the liberal arts, right? They're useless. Right? What are some of these beliefs that we grew up around, right? What are some of the assumptions that you make of other people? Because really you're just assuming this of yourself. Part of understanding your beliefs is what do you find meaningful, right? Again, we talked about meaningful because under your life experience, you interpreted that life experience or event you've had or are having. And because of this interpretation, you then gave it meaning. Right? So you're giving your life meaning based upon off of your experiences, which are based off of your senses, which are limited, and because we're imperfect people. Right? So what do you find meaningful in your life? Right? What do you subscribe to in your life? What belief systems again? Right? What does walking in the park in the middle of nowhere seem nice to you? Does living away from everyone else seem nice to you? Is moving to a busy city, is that the life for you? What do you find meaningful? Right? Is relationships meaningful? Is having children meaningful? Right? So what is this meaning? Is it going to fill you up? And how do you view the world and society? Now here's the thing. So however you view the world, if you say it's all crappy, it's racist, it's divided, if that's your point of view, then that's who you are. Right? Where did you get that belief system? Right? You got it from someone. Everything that you've got, you were influenced by other people, and then you chose to take it in and keep it or integrate it. Right? Now maybe it's a great attitude. Me, the world is the world. It's been this way for thousands of years, right? Tens of thousands of years. People want to talk about peace. Well, everyone has a different version of peace. So your version of peace and my version of peace may be different. And then that difference is why we continue warring on this planet, right? People want to talk to me about peace on earth. It's never going to happen. Now we'll have intermittence between war. Right? The dominant thing on this planet is war because we don't know what each other wants, because we don't want to sit down and have a meaningful conversation and understand why do you believe that way, right? And have a deep listening conversation, but we don't. And because we don't, That puts us into greed and fear, back into the ego, because we believe that if we do this, then someone's going to do this to us. But no matter what we do, there'll always be war, which is just conflict, which is confliction, which is two people conflicting their belief systems instead of unfolding the moment. Now, this confliction is why we have wars. And the only reason we don't have wars, big wars at certain times, is because we have to have peace or a respite so we can restock our ammunition and create new technology. So we created a stick, then a rock, and then the rock became a bullet, then the bullet became a missile, then the missile became a satellite, and the satellite became a nuclear weapon, and the nuclear weapon became, and so on and so forth. Right? So we're just continually upping one. It's like cartoons where one used to be bring a rocket up and then the other and have more rockets and so on and so forth. So it just gets bigger and bigger, until we annihilate each other, then we start over again. Right? So this planet is not about peace, it's about understanding what is war, what is conflict. It's us seeing life from different perspectives and not understanding or appreciating other people's perspectives, right? Because I don't know anyone else's perspective other than what they want me to know about their perspective. And if it's limited, and we talked about the unhealthy listening skills or communication skills of generalizing or over catastrophizing or black and white, everything is black and white, or rule keeping, right? If you're seeing life from only one perspective, then you have chosen to cut out all other perspectives. For whatever reason, that's a belief. Why? Why did you believe that belief? Look deeply into that belief. Listen deeply to your reason why you have those beliefs. And most of it will be because of fear, because you are lacking love for yourself. And so therefore we put this protective barrier over us or around us so that no one else comes into our bubble, because therefore we can never be reminded of what happened in the past. But the more we deal with what was in the past, we can release that, because it's just a thought held by you. And once you release that thought, by allowing it to unfold, by you being with that thought and understanding it's just a thought, and that thought can be unraveled or unfolded. So however you view the world or society is how you view your own inner world and your own society within. Can you identify your empowering beliefs? What does empower you? What gets you going? What motivates you? What inspires you? What gets you to learn more, to take action? So we want to look at these empower. The empowering is what activates the that and the this and Shambhala and hierarchy and God within you to begin to expand and express, right, and pass on or passion your life. Right? Can you identify and admit to your limited beliefs? Are you willing to look at these beliefs that you have that are limited, this rigid rule keeping, this black and white, this generalization of everyone, this division, right? And again, all division in life is between your heart and your mind. And if you're willing to look at what you are conceiving, right, of your awareness, then if you're willing to look at it, then you can unfold it and make a new version of it, a new perspective, and that in itself will be empowering. So which limited beliefs are you willing to look at? And so where can you find or create meaning in your life? So everything that you perceive in your external life, you've given meaning to, and that meaning came from someone else's version that our societies or our belief systems told us to believe. Right? Certain people, if they cannot control you, they fear you, so therefore you become an enemy. Right? Because if they can't control you, then they can no longer maintain their control. Again, control is fear. What are they afraid of? Well, that's their beliefs. I don't know. I'd have to ask them. So where can you find or create meaning in your life? And so finally here, we'll look at these last set of questions. Is what limited beliefs have you brought with you from childhood? Now, no one's born racist. No one's born sexist. No one's born divided, if you will. Everything that you know came from your tribe, your family, right? Your churches, your societies. All these gave you what your belief systems are today. So, and this is not right or wrong. It's just which ones are working for you, which ones are no longer working for you. Again, energy works for you. right? Words, beliefs, these are just thoughts. But who's working? Are the thoughts working you, or are you working your thoughts? So any belief that you have from the past, from childhood, can be changed. It can have a new view and a new perspective or perception, right? What impressions do you make on other people? And we've talked about this a little earlier, right? Ask 5 other people around you and just say, or co-workers or whatever, and say, hey, give me 4 honest adjectives of who you think I am. Give me 2 positive, 2 negatives, right? And be willing to accept that. Now, we're not going to argue back. We're just going to say thank you for sharing, right? We're not going to jump down their throat because you're the one who asked them. You're the one questing ions. You get me? So be ready to hear what it is that you're asking for, because that's courage. That means you're ready to make a difference. You're ready to change something within your life. Okay? Why do you do the things that you do? Right? Why do you act the way you act? Right? Why do you lash out? Right? Why do you chase a certain dream? Right? Why do you chase certain things? Right? Most people are either running to or from something. Right? So why do you do the things you do? Why do you run from things? Right? When things get tough, do you just move? Do you coward and then say, oh, I'm just going to go away? Right? Or do you sit there and deal and unfold those moments? Those moments can be tough, but you can unfold that moment by knowing that it's you who's thinking that thought. Because again, it's your self-awareness. Are you aware that you're doing this? Why are you doing this? What's the belief of why you keep moving on when things get tough? Okay? Or date the same people, or relate the same way, or have the limiting belief that I'm just tired of people. They're just all crappy people. They're all crazy. I just want to be by myself. I say that all the time to myself, but I'm both. I like my time with people, and I like my time away from people. And when I'm away from people, I like to be away from people, but I also like people. Make sense? So what are your beliefs? Why do I like that? Well, I like my space. Right now I go out into the world and I deal with the world, and then in essence I'm dealing with myself, but I only like dealing with myself for so long, so then I'm in a reflective standpoint, and then I go back to myself. And I can do my own self-reflection. Right? So how aware are you, and why you sometimes respond to people the way you do? And this is also what we've already talked about. When someone says something, why do you respond the way you do? Well, it's going to come from a belief system. Where did the belief system come? From the past. Right? All beliefs are in the past. And where did you get that belief system? Who did you learn it from? And it's okay to start admitting that, okay, these things aren't working, they're not mine. And start coming out of those and transition out of those, right? And how do we do that? Well, you got to be motivated, right? You got to learn new tools, communication. That's why I'm bringing these videos to you, is to help you understand different communication skills. If you don't have good communication, then that's going to be your reality. Your communication is based, your reality is based on how well you can communicate. Make sense? And I'm not talking just verbally, right? Some of us just don't have the skills to communicate articulately, or we don't know how to articulate words clearly because we're emotional-based people. So when we try to put our emotions to words, there's a mix there. Why? Because there's a fear there, because there's a belief there, because there's a disconnection between the heart and the mind. Or we lack the ability to deal with what's happening to us in that moment. And then instead of lashing out, we can take the time and say, hey, why is it that I act this way? Well, it's going to come from a belief or something you experienced in the past, and you're still carrying it around with you in the future, or in the present to the future. All right, guys, that's going to be about do it today. So basically, your self-awareness is going to be consistent with self-esteem, self-worth, self-image, all that good stuff, and we'll talk about each one of those next time. So self-worth will be next, all right? I appreciate you hanging in there, and practice that communication, study what you wrote down today, and then really take a close look at it. And if you want to, leave me a comment, and I'll get back with you. All right, guys? Appreciate it.